Hi everybody, Matt here from Matt Likes Comics, and I'm here today to participate in the Undervalued 5 challenge that's been going around on YouTube with the comic community. I have been asked by two people, Brandon at M.O.N Comics and Nate at Holyak Comics, have both challenged me to pick my 5 undervalued and explain why I think so. So here we are. Let's get started. I will point out that every one of my books is super family related, and they're all from the Silver and Bronze Age. The reason is I think that whole era, especially of Superman books or anything not Batman or one of like the major keys like the first Justice League for example, are so undervalued compared to even not just their Marvel counterparts but some other books from the very late Golden Age and early Silver Age from other companies as well. So, without further ado, let's begin. My first book is Action Comics 340, which is the first appearance of the Parasite. And the reason I think this is undervalued is because the Parasite is allegedly going to make his debut in the new Superman movie on the screen. And just about every single Marvel personage that there's a rumor about, their books fly through the roof into the thousands in some cases. I bought this book for 140 bucks US not too long ago. Plus shipping and stuff, it came to about 165. And it is mid-grade, probably about a 6, maybe a 5. But the fact is that that is way, way too cheap. This should be a $300 to $500 book in this grade, especially since I did see that a 9.8 went for almost $1,400 not too long ago. But in general, for a major Superman villain and his first appearance, is the Parasite has come back to fight Superman on at least 20 other occasions. I couldn't quite find the number, the exact number. They gave me a list of stories, but the stories tended to some of them went over into a couple of issues, and I wasn't sure if I should count that or not. So I can say that they've fought at least 20 times. So he's actually a reasonably major villain in the Superman mythos, and his first appearance should be worth more. The next one. Everybody was happy as heck when Superman married Lois on the TV show, in the comics. The problem is that this was in the 90s and it was the Earth Zero / Earth One Superman. People were forgetting about the Earth 2 Superman who got married first in 1978. In this issue, Action Comics 484. I bought this for $1 11 years ago. I know that because my son was 4 and he was with me when I bought it. Back then, this is a 8.5 to 9 book for the most part, I would say. Probably closer to 8.5. But it was worth $20 at the time, so I got a bargain. I looked it up today. Guess how much it's worth? $20. And that now I don't understand, because Lois marrying Superman was a huge deal. Heroes don't get married, especially the major ones. Spider-Man wasn't married yet. This was 1978. It was a complete concept. The only people who were married in the books were the Golden Age heroes that from the 40s, like a Jay Garrick or a Barry Allen was married, but you know it was still basically a new thing. Yes, elongated man. I mean, yes, make the arguments you want. I can make your arguments for you. There were quite a few married heroes, but none of them were major, like a Thor, okay. But what about the Richards, Matt? All right, fine. I'll give you that. But the fact is that the Trinity themselves were not married, and they actually married off the Earth 2 Batman not long after. because the Huntress had come around anyway by this point. I think this was around the time the Huntress was coming in the comic books anyway, because she was either late 77 or early 78. And that was the first time we really heard that Bruce Wayne got married to the Catwoman on Earth 2. That, of course, that marriage was actually shown in a Superman family book not long after this book came out, because in Superman family they started an Earth 2 Superman series. See, this brought the characters back. They were actually in 17 issues of Superman of Superman family after this. They even attended Selena and Bruce's wedding. That's in one of the issues, trust me. The third one is Action Comics 419 with an absolutely gorgeous Neal Adams cover. Now, it is worth a little more than other books around in this era. But Neal Adams cover, it's gorgeous. There are posters made of this. I've seen it on t-shirts. Yet I only paid $35 for this book. Again, mid-grade, probably 4.5 to 5. I even spoke to the artist himself while he was alive when he was in Ottawa one time about this cover, because I asked him why he didn't sell any posters of this, and he said, I hate that darn cover. They took my awesome picture of Superman and threw it on a photograph. I want nothing to do with it anymore. Though he said he would sign it if I paid him. I didn't do it. I didn't have it at the time. But I did want to have the poster, and he refused to carry them. Having said that, this is also the first appearance of the Human Target. So it has a minor key besides the cover. The story itself is just another story. It's a typical Superman story of the 1970s. But to be honest, Denny O'Neil wrote a lot of these. And Denny O'Neil is a pretty darn good story writer. I don't know if you know that. This should be worth triple digits in the nines. But it's not. It's worth $90 when I saw it last. Which brings us to the bookend of the Human Target, because the next book is also Action Comics. It is the last appearance of the Human Target in Action Comics, but it's also the first appearance of a toy man that a lot of people have seen, because this was the toy man that was on the Super Friends series. This is Action Comics 432. And because it is the first appearance of a character that was on a cartoon series, you would think that this book, again, would be worth a lot more than it is. The actual story that introduces the Toy Man is fantastic. Probably one of my favorite stories of the entire 70s era. I used to own 4 copies of this book before I sold 3 of them. That's how much I like this book. For the simple fact that the new Toy Man, who's the one in the little rocket here, actually fights Superman, and Superman defeats him with help from the original Toy Man. That the original Toy Man goes back to being bad and eventually kills his partner, so to speak, his name partner, for better or for worse, is not a thing at all. Buy Superman 305 if you want to see that. But, yeah, this book is severely undervalued for what it is in the 70s. And the last book is not a Superman book. It is Adventure Comics 381, the first appearance of Supergirl in her own title ever. Not only is it the first appearance of a full book dedicated to Supergirl, the entire story takes up the entire book, but Batgirl makes only her 13th ever appearance, and I counted. I pulled up a Batgirl appearances chart, and sure enough, this was number 13. So this, for a 1969 book, I love the cover. Supergirl taking charge. If you read the book, it's a story of a bunch of female thieves who dress like Satan Girl, the girl behind there without the cape. If you remember Satan Girl from Adventure 313. Um, and sure enough, this is an absolute stunner. What I cannot believe is that this is only a $60 book. This should be in this grade, which is this has a subscription crease on it, so it's probably only about a 3.5 tops. But in this grade, it should be three figures, and it is only $50. Especially since Supergirl, the Woman of Tomorrow, is supposed to hit theaters. I mean, it's not as important, obviously, as Action 252, her first appearance, or Action 285 when she's introduced to the Earth and she no longer has to work in secret. But it is a major milestone for the character, which is only beaten by her first actual book named Supergirl in 1972. So, those are my 5 books. Once again, Action Comics 340, Action Comics 484, Action Comics 419, Action Comics 432, and Adventure Comics 381. They all should be worth more. Now, to the part I'm sure everybody's tingling about, here are the 3 people that I nominate to take up the challenge. The first person I name is Mr. E, the Low Grade King. I really like his channel, and I'd like to see what he thinks of the books that he buys are very undervalued and should be valued more. The next one I'm going to ask is the Immortal Biggieshaq. He does a lot of top 10 lists of his own, so I think he's very familiar with doing this kind of stuff. And he actually does have a big opinion on books that are undervalued. So I'm curious to see which 5 he thinks are the most undervalued of his collection. And number 3, and the last one, is Conlin's Comics. I have been watching him since he was recommended by Mike from Lunch Money Comics, and he seems to have a lot of similar interests in as me in terms of the books that he likes to buy and read. So I'd like to see what his opinion is, if he has similar thoughts to me about the DC Silver Age in general being undervalued. Anyway, if you like what I've done, please like, subscribe, and certainly comment. I want to hear if you disagree with me and why. Or I want to hear if you agree with me and why. I want to hear if you think that there are maybe other books I should have thought of first from these runs and why. And even if you just want to say hi, that's great. Once again, I am nominating Mr. E, the Low Grade King, the Immortal Biggieshaq, and Conlin's Comics, and thank you to M.O.N's Comics and Hall Yeah Comics for nominating me for this. My name is Matt, and I like comics, and I hope you do too.